Good morning, friends. We have started unit number 1, which is nothing but the spur gear in subject theory of machine 2. Before starting the subject or before starting the topic, I would like to ask you to subscribe this channel. If you are liking the videos, press the like button. Kindly click the bell icon so that you will get the notifications once the new video is being uploaded. If you have any suggestions, if you have any implementations for me, so please share all those points with me, okay, so that this channel can be improved and you will get benefited from this particular channel. Okay, now we will start our first topic, which is the theory of machine 2. Actually, we had discussed a few topics in this particular first unit, but still I wanted you to go through the various 3D objects or 3D diagrams of different gears. That is what basically we had seen the classifications uh, by using the mode of blackboard. Okay, but it was difficult for me to let you understand what are the different gears which are available. But with this PowerPoint presentation, we will see what are the different types of gears. Okay, once again. So we will have the revision of previously taught portion over here. So very first is basically gears are used to transmit a motion or a power from one shaft to the other shaft. As in the lecture only we had discussed that there are different drives through which we can transfer the power from one shaft to another shaft. Drives which are nothing but the belt drive, then chain drives are there. In belt drive we have various cross sections of the belts, then different pulleys are there, isn't it? So we have options for it, but when we want continuous power transmission, then distance is also less, load carrying capacity, power transmission capacity is quite high, then the drive which we are going to use is nothing but the gear drive. Okay, so that is what is about the gear drive. Now when we are studying the types of gears, then very first in the classification part we see that according to the relative position of the axis. Okay, so very first is parallel axis, second one is intersecting axis, third one is non-parallel and not intersecting axis. Then according to the velocity of the gears, so very first is low velocity gear, medium velocity gear and high velocity gear. Third one is according to the type of gearing. So first is internal gearing and second one is the external gearing. Okay, then according to the position of the teeth on the gear surface, means whether the gear teeth are straight one, inclined one or the curved one, that is another type. Now here in this particular picture you may see that this basically gear pair belongs to this particular classification, which is nothing but the parallel axis classification. If you are going to see the axis of this particular gear, which will be at this particular point, and if you are going to see the axis of this particular gear, which will be at this particular point, so both the axes are parallel to each other, so it will come under the category of parallel axis. Okay, similarly this is an internal gearing. This gear pair is an example of internal gearing because this is having external teeth and this is having internal teeth. Okay, so there are gear pairs where we do have external gearing. Suppose similar kind of, if this is the gear, then similar kind of one more gear will be there. Okay, in which we will be having similar sorts of gears. So both of them will form an external gear pair. Are you getting me? But as of now, what we can observe in this particular diagram or in this picture is nothing but the internal gearing. Okay, so this is an example of internal gearing. Then these are nothing but the different types of gears. So very first is the spur gear. So here you can observe what exactly spur gear is. See, this is what is the axis of this particular gear, and this is what is the teeth of that particular gear. If we compare the axis of gear and axis of teeth, both are parallel to each other. So this is the spur gear. Are you getting me? Then second one is helical gear. So if these teeth are cut at an angle, so that angle is nothing but the helix angle. So if these teeth are cut at some particular angle, then the gear are known as helix gear. Okay. So this is an example of helical gear. Now in helical gear also, we have one more type, which is known as herringbone gear. Okay. So in that particular gear, if suppose a mirror image of this particular gear, if we attach on this particular side, then that gear that gear will be known as herringbone gear. Okay, so these are nothing but the types of helical gear. The next is rack and pinion. So this is what is the rack and pinion. So this is what is the rack gear and this is what is the pinion gear. If we want to transfer a rotary motion into the linear one, then this particular type of gear pair is being used. Okay, the next is bevel gear. Okay, now in bevel gear we have different arrangement. Okay, basically bevel gears are like this only. Okay, where we need to transfer the power at an right angle. If you can see, the axis of this gear, pinion gear, is nothing but this particular axis, and if we see the axis of this particular gear will be like this. So both these axes are perpendicular to each other, mutually perpendicular to each other. So these are nothing but the uh, bevel gear, isn't it? Now in bevel gear we can cut the teeth which are similar to spur, similar to spiral bevel gears, isn't it? So now here you can observe that these gears are cut like this. Okay, so there is no helix angle, but if there is an helix angle like this, then these are known as spiral bevel gears. In 3D it will look like this. Okay, then worm gears. Okay, worm gears, worm and worm wheel basically it is. So these are nothing but the worm gears. So if the gear ratio, if we want 1:100 as an gear ratio, maximum we can increase from 1 to 100, or maximum we can reduce the motion from 100 to 1. So that can be achieved only and only with the worm and worm gear. Okay, so this is what is the biggest advantage of this gear pair, worm and worm gear, worm wheel. So basically this is nothing but the worm gear and this is nothing but the worm wheel. If it is going to rotate one revolution, it will rotate its 100 revolutions like that. Okay, so that is the worm and worm wheel gear pair. Then another gear pair is there, which is nothing but the planet pinion carrier, isn't it? Sun and planet gears, isn't it? So here you can see that different arrangement of internal gearing and external gearing is there. So this is what is the another type of gear pair. Then there is an hypoid gear, hypoids gear, when it is the next level of a spiral gear. When the gears are cut in at an curvature, if they have an arc, then these are known as hypoidal gears. Okay, see, one by one we will see spur gear. See, it is like this. The axis of the teeth is parallel to the axis of the tooth, isn't it? See, this is how it is. These are being meshed, and basically these are used in electric screwdriver, oscillating sprinkler. Okay, like this. Then helical gear. So this is what is the helix angle is there, isn't it? So in 3D it will look like this. Helical gear. Two different hand of helix are being meshed over here. Then rack and pinion. So these are nothing but the rack and pinion gear. See, this is what is the pinion and this is what is the rack. Okay, so the rotary motion of this particular pinion is getting converted into the linear motion of this particular rack. Bevel gear. At an angle we can transfer the power. Worm and worm wheel. See, like this. If it is being rotated by 1 revolution, this is going to rotate by 100 revolution. Basically, it is it comes under the category of non-parallel, non-intersecting shafts, isn't it? Now, this nomenclature part also we had seen, but from here also we can see the different nomenclatures. So this is what is nothing but the PCD, pitch circle diameter. Sorry, this is what is the pitch circle diameter, isn't it? Then this is what is the clearance circle. This is the dedendum circle. This is addendum circle, isn't it? The portion which is above the pitch circle is known as face. The portion which is below the pitch circle, which is known as flank, isn't it? Then this is what is the face width. The radial distance after the pitch circle till the addendum circle is known as addendum. Then radial distance from the pitch circle till the dedendum circle is known as the dedendum. Then this whole to addendum to dedendum circle radial distance is nothing but the total depth. Some clearness is being left so that the top uh, portion of an tooth should not get penetrated into the mating gear. So that is why some clearance is being left, isn't it? Then this is what is the top land of an gear. Then this is what is the bottom land of an gear. Then pitch circle already we had seen. Then pitch point. This is where the both PCDs, if two gears are in mesh, then if both PCDs are getting intersected with each other, then they are intersecting at pitch point. This pitch point P is very important from our nomenclature point of view, and the at this particular point we are going to use that particular point in our future reference also. Then addendum dedendum also we had seen. Circular pitch. So it is the distance measured on the circumference of the pitch circle from a point of one tooth to the corresponding point on the next tooth. Means if we have started the distance measuring from this particular point on the successive tooth at the particular same point, if we are measuring the distance along the pitch circle, then that is what is the circular pitch. Then diametral pitch, basically it is a ratio of t by d. Mathematically it is denoted by t by d. So what it is? Number of teeth to the pitch circle, that is nothing but the ratio of it. Then module, it is the ratio of pitch circle diameter in millimeters to the number of teeth. So it is m is equal to d by t. Then clearance is kept. So it is the radial distance between the distance from the top of the tooth to the bottom of the tooth in a meshing gear. A circle is passing through the top of the meshing gear is known as clearance circle. Total depth also we had seen, addition of addendum dedendum. Then working depth also we had seen, tooth thickness. It is the width of the tooth measured along the pitch circle. So this is what is the tooth thickness. Then tooth space. So it is nothing but the width of space between the two adjacent teeth measured along the pitch circle. Then last one is the backlash. It is the difference between the tooth space and tooth thickness measured along the pitch circle. So that is nothing but the backlash. So top land is nothing but the dark blue color, uh, face is nothing but the brown color, and flank is nothing but the navy blue color. Okay, so this is what is the basic nomenclature of the tooth is. So that's it for now. In the next lecture we will see the next part of this particular video or this particular lecture. Okay, thank you for this particular video. All the best.